Alright, we're going to take a look at clearing out the center of the shaft of our shovel. So I've put in here an 8mm drill bit, and I've already drilled the other side. So we've got to drill this in 2 stages, because the length of this here, the usable part of this here, is about 80mm, and we need to drill through 70mm on either side, so we get that little bit of a lap over. So I'm going to bring it down, turn it on, have my coolant, and we're going to start drilling in. Now, just like we did with the aluminium, we need to peck drill this. So we drill in a bit, we wind it out. All of the metal that's coming out of this one is far sharper and far hotter than what came out of our aluminium. So we need to make sure that coolant's going, and we need to make sure that we're using the correct drilling technique. Now this one's going to take a little while because you need to keep moving it in and pulling it out, so you just need to use a little bit of patience. Now, see all this swarth is building up on the outside of my drill bit? I don't want to ever pull that off by hand. I don't want to do that for 2 reasons. It's hot and sharp, and if you pull it off and it's still sort of attached or gets caught around the spinning chuck, it can quite easily pull your hand in. And you obviously don't want to hit your hand on that at 770 RPM. So I've got a lot built up there, so I'm going to unclamp my slide. I'm going to pull my drill bit out. I'm going to use some pliers well away to clear that out. Now I can slide it back up, clamp it in place, and keep going with that process. Drilling in, winding out, drilling in, winding out. Whilst this is going, obviously you're all wearing safety glasses, you don't have your ties on, and you don't have any unrestrained hair or jewelry. Like, you shouldn't have your hair unrestrained at school anyway, and you shouldn't be wearing any jewelry. If you do wear a watch, you definitely want to take that off, because you don't want to get it caught on that, because just like with anything else, it's going to pull your hand into a fast moving piece of machinery. Now this coolant that we're using, if it starts to look really watery, because at the moment it looks kind of milky, then we need to put more coolant in. The coolant dilutes at a rate of 1:20, so we use a little bit of coolant for 20 more parts of water, and we get this milky consistency. What tends to happen though is the water eventually evaporates, and once the water evaporates out, then all we've got left is coolant. So see how that's all starting to clamp up around there? That's why I need to keep bringing it out and drilling it back in. And we're just about through, and there we're through, because you can feel no more resistance. Once we've got no more resistance, we can slide our drill bit out, and we can put in our next one. Now I've already drilled the other side of that, just to make this a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to put this one in, show you the gist of it, and then I'll show you the finished product. So this is our larger drill bit, this is the 18.5. Slide it up, clamp our tail slock in place, cool it on, drill on, lathe on, and I can start boring that out. Now, as you can see, this is taking quite a lot of material off at a time, so do not grab these bits of hot swarth that are coming out. You're going to need to clear this out a couple more times than you did with the smaller drill bit, just because those pieces might not break off. So we just keep on working. Winding it back out, going back in. Now we're getting a lot of build up there, it's kind of getting dangerous, so I'm going to pull it out, clear it all off, it down the back and we can clean the machine out later. Slide my drill bit back in. And get back to doing that peck drilling. Now, even though we could probably just ram this drill bit all the way through, we still need to bring it out every now and then, just to let the coolant have its turn on it. We could use some cutting compound, but at this stage, it should be okay. So I'm going to bring it all out, and I'm going to swap my piece of booker rod over. Now, just like when we took our piece of aluminium out before, see the smoke coming out of that? Well, not smoke, steam. This piece is going to be extremely hot. So we're going to grab it with pliers, pull it out, set it to the side, and we can grab a rag to hold it just like you would anything coming out of the oven, so we're not burning our hands. Now we're only going into the part that's black, so we don't want to go any more than that, because as soon as we go more than the black part, we start ruining our good threads. We got that there, turn it back on, sliding our drill bit up, clearing out any swarth. Again, don't do this with your hands. Probably shouldn't do it with a hand on the video. Clamp it in place, turn it on. Start boring from the other direction. If the drill bit seems to be squealing or smoking or taking more time than it should, just slow yourself down. Now I just got to the end of my slide for my tailstock, so I need to wind it back in and then slide it up to get through the last bit of the shaft, which I'm nearly all the way through. I'm getting a lot of build up here, and the material that's starting to come out has got that burnt black look to it, so I'm going to clear it all away and let my piece of material cool down a little bit in the process. I should nearly be at the end of this stage. Just like with the start though, you need to take your time, let your drill bits cool down. It's not a race. Now, the resistance went, so that is my hole drilled the whole way through, but I'm just going to wind it up just to make sure, clamping it back in place. Yep, there's no resistance in there, so I can pull it out, turn it off. I'm going to leave my coolant running, just to try and cool that down a little bit. Make sure you got a rag or one of the welding gloves or something that's around to grab this out, because obviously it's going to be hot. You don't want to burn in a thread pattern to your fingers. So there we have the whole board the whole way through, and that step is complete.